Hey everyone, welcome to our small footprint. My name is Nyssa, and if you're new here, we are a family of 8 who live off-grid in Australia. This is a little bit of a catch-up video. I didn't do one on Sunday. I regularly do catch-up videos on Sunday, and I didn't do one on Sunday. It is Wednesday afternoon at the moment. I'm going to put this out Thursday morning. So it's a few bits and pieces of a few things, mostly for my regulars. I have been talking about putting a sale up on the website for my stock and stuff, so I'm going to do that tomorrow. So this is partly announcing sort of the new stuff that's going up there, but I also wanted to discuss this whole opening the store thing, because I mentioned that maybe I'd do a video discussing about opening the Shopify store and how it ran and things like that. So when I decided to do I suppose you're going to call it merch, except that it's not really merch because it's not really advertising me as such. It's just selling stuff that I wanted to create. And I really enjoy creating, but I have problems with doing things that aren't useful with my time. So like doing my art on my iPad and drawing all these characters and things like that, I'd have problems. I'd feel guilty if I sat down and did these things because there were so many other things that were actually money earning or felt that I should have prioritized over doing something that I enjoyed as such. But by being able to then use these characters and use that art and use that learning experience of the art to potentially make more side money, it helped to feel like I was giving myself permission to do it, if that makes sense. And I'm sure that happens with a lot of people, that especially busy people, YouTube, you know, we're classified as like influencers. I don't really see that as at my level of YouTube, but a lot of people sort of look at YouTube as not really a job, and it's not really, you know, that it's not really a job. And there's a lot of work to maintain a YouTube channel, and I know a lot of people realize that, but there's a lot of people who don't too. And so the amount of hours that goes into it, sometimes to have downtime becomes difficult because you spend all your time doing that alongside everything else. So I've discussed before, but in case someone's tuning in because of the whole new Shopify thing, I also do transcription typing. I used to do it almost as a full-time sort of a heavy part-time load, and then the company that I work for dropped some of my, I used to do it for multiple people. I used to type for multiple people, and they dropped me all bar one. And what I believe happened is they now use AI for transcription for some of their advisors, and I only do one of the main ones. And I'm not sure whether they did that because they felt guilty about dropping me, or whether it was just she prefers to have a real life person doing it because I can answer questions and do it within 24-hour turnaround and it's accurate. I don't know, but it means that the transcription typing has definitely dropped down to very much a casual income. So YouTube it sort of was good timing because YouTube had started picking up when I got dropped there. So the income from YouTube has helped to counteract that. Now, we don't need to earn very much income. So for us, YouTube is a good income. It's not huge, but it's a good income because we don't have many overheads. So our debt is very minimal. I have a small debt on the property that I pay off, which was a personal loan, and that was for the extensions of the new buildings, and my car when I bought it. There's a few bits and pieces that are rolled into a small personal loan that I'm paying, but I don't have a mortgage as such. So my overheads are very low, which means that I don't have to earn very much. So I get a little bit of money from the government because we're a large family. I homeschool, so I'm eligible for assistance in that sense because I can't work in a full-time position. I have more than 4 children under 16, all of those different things. So we get a little bit of money from Centrelink, which is awesome because it's a set fortnightly amount, so that always helps too. I do the transcription typing. Darryl does Dungeons and Dragons conversions, so he does tabletop conversions for virtual tabletops. So he does Shard and Fantasy Grounds and Foundry and Roll20, and he converts adventures into those virtual tabletops for a bunch of different clients. We go via Dragon Clan Studio for that because I do a lot of it too. There's a lot that's data entry, and then there's a lot that's the creative aspect and the knowledge aspect of D&D. And I played D&D tabletop stuff when I was a teenager, but I haven't really followed it through very much. It's time consuming and I just don't have a lot of time. But he plays a couple of games a week with different groups, and he does that as his job. Now, he spent a lot of time earning next to nothing for lots of hours learning the process, but now he's one of the sought after converters because of his skill set and the speed. Part of that also is the data entry aspect of it. So some of the tabling and data entry of that I do for him, and I'm a lot faster than him and a lot faster than most people. So I do that aspect and then he does the other end of it. So we work on that as well. So I do the data entry for that while he does the creative aspect. I do the transcription typing. I do YouTube, and then I wanted to do this business because I wanted the creative outlet. I would eventually like to be a little bit more creative and aesthetic with my YouTube, but for the moment, it is what it is. I'm trying really hard to get our kitchen redesigned, and once that's redesigned, the idea is to have a couple of different angles of camera and things like that, but it's all just is going to happen when it happens. So to be able to draw for a purpose too. So like when I created the first couple of Australian critters, I then sat there and went, well, I could do this one and I could do this one. And I asked a couple of people, what other Australian critters? And so I designed there's 8 of them. I actually have a couple more that weren't finished that I didn't do as this run. And I really enjoyed it, but I was very critical of it. And then when I got stuff printed, when I decided I'm going to do it, I'm going to get some stickers printed and I'm going to get some transfers printed, and it was so exciting to see it physically in my hands, and how awesome it feels. Like, it doesn't feel like I drew it. It doesn't feel like it's my art because it's too... It sounds so conceited, but too good to be mine. And every time I transfer things onto clothing or whatever else, I just sit there and I go, it's just, I can't believe that that's mine that I'm putting on there. So I wanted to share it, and that's all it really came about, was I wanted an excuse to do art, and then I wanted to share it. So then I thought, well, I could do small or I could do Shopify. Now Shopify is $56 a month. You got a free month, I think it was, and they actually have a promotion where you get 1% of your sales back each month to go against your $56 a month thing up to a certain amount. So that's really neat too. And it's touted as being like idiot proof and beginner. And yes, like you can get a store up and running in 15 minutes. Is it going to be aesthetically pleasing? It'll be okay. It'll just look like a template store. Is it going to function the way you need it to? Well, that's a bit of a hit and miss. So it is user-friendly. Shopify is user-friendly. This is not sponsored in any way either. This is just because I looked at a lot of videos about Shopify, but most of them are sponsored, and therefore the way it's just not... It didn't help me very much when I actually got in there. So the thing with Shopify is that it has some standard templates, and the templates are great. I'm using a free template for the basis of my store. And then you have all this coding and stuff in the background. Now, a lot of the coding you can get some free, like a bit like WordPress. You can get some free plugins, some that cost, some that have subscriptions, things like that. And you can install them and trial them. Most of them have a free install and trial before they'll charge you and things like that. So I went through a whole bunch of things trying to figure it out. But because I mentioned on Facebook or whatever that I was opening a Shopify store, I had 20, 30, 40 people message me. And what they are is they're coders for Shopify. So a lot of these Shopify stores have people who create custom code to make the shops do what they want it to do. So I wasn't willing to pay for someone to do custom code for a shop that I didn't even know whether I was going to continue or not. So I've done most of it in the back end myself, but it means that it's tricky. There's certain things that really have been a struggle. Shipping is one of them. You can have shipping categories, so you can assign certain products to a category and then and then charge the shipping. But if someone buys something from 2 different categories, it's going to charge shipping on both categories. So that was a lot of problems initially. I did some refunds of shipping there because it was supposed to be one category charged 15 and the other one charged 10. Well, it only needed to be the 15 because that was the higher amount, but you couldn't tell it to do that. So then I had to combine things into the same categories and hope that the shipping worked out okay. There was some significant issues, and the international stuff definitely was because I had to put the amounts in, but yeah, the shipping was really challenging. And now I looked at a bunch of different plugins for it, and none of them did what I needed them to do. None of them allowed me to combine groups, if this was with this but this was higher, then just charge this. Nothing worked. So there was that. That was really difficult, and I think that in the end that's something that a custom scripter for, depending on what your product is, would be the way to go. But then I found out too that, so I ship via Australia Post. I just do it simply. The post office is in town, so it's 35 minutes away. So Darryl takes all my parcels in for me. I do it from home, and I do it on the My Post Business website, and it's really straightforward. There is plugins that you can theoretically like run from Shopify straight into the My Post Business, but I didn't want to. None of them seemed, they were all cost, and it was a subscription base, and I just felt like it was a little overkill. So I've been manually typing them in. But the My Post Business has tiers, or bands I think they call it, for shipping. So when I first started paying shipping, I was paying a lot higher rates of shipping by the time now that I've had the opening for the 30 days. But I won't maintain that higher band if I don't maintain sales and shipping, which I'm not going to, obviously, because the launch is always going to be bigger, Christmas is going to be bigger, then it's going to peter off. So when I first started and set shipping rates and stuff, they were higher than what I'm actually paying now. Because I hit that band having shipped so much all up. So shipping was hard, and it was an unknown. But the other thing that I find difficult is the bundles of items. So like with the mugs have like 6 different colors, and then you have all the different critters that you can put on them, with the hats, without the hats. So there is a whole lot of variants of those critters that go with the mugs. So you create the listing that's for the critters, which isn't seen by other people, it's just in the back end. And then you create the listing for the mugs. Again, you leave it hidden. And then you create a bundle, and the bundle has the mugs with the variants in it. Except that the inventory on the mugs is now wrong. So you've put the inventory of the mugs of how many of each color's there, but then when you add the variants, it's saying that there's like 15 of each of them, when if you made them before you sold them, that would be the case. But I don't make them until someone buys them. So I don't put a transfer onto a colored mug until someone asks for it, because I'm not going to be holding huge amounts of stock. I hold only what I need to hold. So the bundle factor, it makes life a bit difficult, because inventory wise, now for generally speaking, it's okay, because you just buy more stock if you need to, but you don't want that delay, and certain things I can't get quickly either. But for like the sale, so I'm going to start the sale tomorrow night. I will put a thing up. It'd probably be like 7 p.m. Brisbane time. So I'll put a thing up on the thing. And for the sale, there's certain things that I've bought. So I bought a bunch of things that I'm going to talk about, and I'm getting sidetracked here, but I bought a bunch of things, and I want to make sure that the inventory is correct for everyone. And that means that some of the variations I'm not listing, you're going to have to just put in the customization, because if I put variations in there, there's too much chance that I'll oversell, and I only have like 6 of some things because I bought them for me. I bought them to give as gifts or for the kids, and I just ordered an extra lot of them just to share because I wanted to. So that's a bit of a challenge there. So anyway, the bundles and the variations, definitely difficult for a customized shop. So I think that the scripting people that you need, especially for a customization shop like what I'm doing, is definitely something that would be needed to make it run completely smoothly. So yeah. So, and then there's the fees for the Shopify. Checkout isn't too bad. The PayPal isn't too bad. And then I signed up for Afterpay because people asked me about Afterpay, and that's fine, but that hits another set of fees, and Afterpay fees are quite significant actually, compared to everything else. And then the payouts are a little bit like if you've got an FPOS machine, like it does settlements and then it pays out the next couple of days and things like that. So that all runs fairly smoothly, to be honest. The fees are okay, and the money goes in, the money goes out. I've had to refund a couple of people through the Shopify payment gateway, and that worked out fine too. So it's not a difficult thing to use in it by any means, but it's user friendly to a point. And then once you want it to do something slightly out of the ordinary, then it becomes less user friendly. So that's just a bit of my 2 cents on Shopify for anyone thinking about it. Some of the things that also, like not only the Shopify, but starting the business with the artwork, is that I got the artwork printed on UV DTF, which is for like the mugs and the smoothie cups and hard surfaces, and I get it printed on DTF as well, which is a transfer that goes onto soft fabrics and things like that. Now I could sell the transfers if that's what I wanted, but it's not. I don't want these transfers or my art to be used on everybody else's. If I wanted to do that, I could have just sold the art digitally and made money that way. But that's not the point of it. The point of it was that I wanted to put it on things for me and the kids, and then sell it as just, you know, items. And I know that means that the cost of the items are more because of that handling and everything else. But it comes back to that whole not having to make huge amounts of money. So if everything is just profiting slightly and it isn't costing me, then that's all to the benefit, and I really enjoy doing it. There is a few things that I need to set up a little bit better. I don't really have a photographic sort of spot set up at the moment, and the lights for my plants, my seedlings, have lights and they're near where I'm photographing things, and it's tilting the white balance a little bit, but I'll get that set up eventually. And that space, the amount of room, packing orders into. So that's one of the things. I bought a bunch of different size boxes. So I had the main products, I measured the main products, and then decided like if there was on average 2 mugs and if there was an average this and what size box, and it was a nightmare. But then once I decided what I was going to get, I got them. So I have like packs of 50 of half a dozen different size boxes, which have to be stored somewhere, and then I fold some up every now and again, so I've got a few to pick from, and then they have to be stored somewhere. And then I have honeycomb paper that's on rolls, one with tissue paper for wrapping things like the stars, and then one just plain honeycomb craft paper that I use to stuff inside the boxes and pad things out. And you have to have those rolls available. And then I've got water activated packing tape, which has to be in a dispenser that has water in it. And then I put a business card or a thank you card in so I have to have them piled up somewhere. And then once they're stuck together, they then have to be weighed and put in the system and then put aside so that I can print them. It takes up a lot of room. It's amazing the amount of room you need. And then I bought a printer which would print out the labels, thermally print out the labels for me to put on everything straight from Australia Post, and it sucked. The company I bought it from, the printer was touted to be 300 DPI. It was supposed to be suitable for Australia Post. It didn't work. Australia Post could not scan a single label. I mentioned it to them. It's been like 4 weeks of me fighting it, and I've finally got a refund on it. And now I sort of sit there and go, I should have just bought a Monbin originally, which is what most people have reviews on, but I went with an Australian company. It's still a Chinese made printer, but with an Australian owned company, thinking I'll just grab it from here and that sort of thing. And now I'll have to grab the other one, but at the moment it's a bit too late to bother doing, because by the time it got here I'll have already done this sale and hopefully posted most of this stuff. So, you know, but the amount of space, yes, the stock is piled up in boxes in our bedroom, and then also all the packing stuff is everywhere, and just the space that you need to pack each item and then pile each item and then label each item, and then it has to go into totes to be taken to the post office. It is amazing how much space it takes up, so that's a big thing too. What else? So they were my main things for the whole, that was surprising to me for starting up something on my own, of my own artwork, in my own business, of my own products and things like that, and deciding how much of the base stock to get as well. Like the ceramic mugs I imported through AliExpress or Alibaba, which is I think they came from China. It comes from all over the place depending on where you purchase them. So I sourced those mugs because I really loved the shape of them, and got a box of, I think it was 120 of them was what I got initially. But it means that if I decide I want to order more, there's going to be many weeks turnaround between getting them, and hopefully I can still get the same sort, like, you know, that sort of thing. Some of the stuff I got more locally, but it costs a little bit more to get more locally, but there's the convenience of being able to order more quicker. Those enamel mugs with the slight belly shape on them as well, they're from someone local, but I know that you can get them imported, probably the same place that these people import them from, for half the price, because they're bumping it double the price for wholesale because they're getting it from the place I could get it originally, all that sort of thing. So there's that toss up of deciding. So a lot of this was feeling out to what would sell and what wouldn't. and things like that. So let me just quickly get into the stuff that's going to be launched tomorrow. So the idea with the artwork too is that I'll do some launches throughout the year. So I'm going to have a bit of a drive to do either new critters or the critters in different, character ways or something. I don't know yet, but the idea is that there'll be more artwork, and these critters are my 2024 Christmas and beyond critters, and they'll probably always be available because I love them, but there'll be other ones too. That's the idea anyway. So what I wanted to do was just do a few last minute products as part of this 2024 launch, and a lot of it was because I wanted to buy it for gifts and things like that, and I got extras. So I'm going to show you a bunch of it while telling you about it, to show you. So one of the first things I did is I got some acrylic of the Libby tumblers. So I don't like drinking out of plastic, I like drinking out of glass, but my children have broken those glass tumblers numerous times. And I found some plastic. They're the same price as the glass, mind you, but I found some plastic ones that still had the bamboo lids and all that sort of thing. They are clear, not frosted, which is a bit of a bummer, but also kind of funky. And they said that they're 16 ounces or 475 mils, the same as the glass ones, but they're a slightly different shape. So they're slightly stouter, so maybe they are, but they look slightly different. But I bought them for the kids, and I bought half a dozen or a dozen extra that are going up on the shop for people to purchase if they want. They come with the 2 straws, the clear straw and the red and white striped, like the glass ones, much the same price because, as I said, I paid the same price for the plastic as I did for the glass. We've got all the clothing. So there is shirts and shorts in children's sizing. It is 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and 12 maybe is the sizes that I went for, and I only bought a few of each size in each colour because obviously I have to hold this stock if it doesn't sell, which is fine. There'll be other points to use it. So I got blues and greens in the tank tops in a toddler sizing, and then in a girls fit and a unisex fit in the larger sizing, because Sonnet really liked the girls fit that I bought her, so I think it's a Miss Mango or something versus the generic brand. So there's blue and green toddler, girls fit up to like 6 or 8 is young kids, and then there's a girls fit and a boys fit. It's all outlined in the thing. And then there's a few shorts. There's not enough shorts for every shirt, so if you want shorts, it'll just be an add-on, and they can have the same critter on the leg like I did for the kids stuff. The unisex younger age are grey, and then there's in the older ages, like the shirts, there's blue, and there's a boys fit or a unisex fit and a girls fit. I also got asked about smaller sizing when I showed that off, so I decided to buy some onesies. I couldn't find tank tops in the baby sizes, but what I found was the sleeveless onesies, which are super cute. But they didn't have much in the way of any sort of colour. So what I did was I bought a bunch of white ones and I tie-dyed them because I love tie-dyeing. And do you know, when Surreal was a toddler, she was only like 2 or 3, I used to run markets because I did screen printing and tie-dyeing on handmade clothing. Now I don't have time to hand make the clothing anymore, but I still enjoy the tie-dyeing. So I bought a whole bunch of sleeveless onesies for babies, just only double O's and O's, and I have some solid colours. There's a couple of pinks, some brown colours, some black, grey, and then all these tie-dyed ones, and each tie-dyed one is listed individually because they're a big, it's a low water immersion, hot soda ash way. That's how I do it, which means that they're all slightly different, and they're all, I really like them. I used 2 different shades of blue and a bright daffodil yellow and created these, so they are there for purchase as well. So all that clothing is there. What else did I get? I got some little velvet reindeer bags. I'm going to use these little bags as our lolly stockings for the kids this year. So I bought half a dozen for the kids, and then I bought a dozen extra just because I thought they were super cute. I put HTV on them with their name, and they're just adorable. So they're a smallish bag, big enough for like a lolly treat sort of thing, but a smallish bag, so I got those. I also got a few stubby coolers, bottles and can stubby coolers, because I'm going to give a few of them to my mum and my aunt. My mum and aunt carry them in their handbag when they go to the pub and stuff to put their drinks in, or if they're going to hockey, and then they can do it there. So I'm going to do a few personalised for them. I made up a few, or looked up I used ChatGPT to discuss backwards and forwards a few different sayings that I wanted to put on them, so I put those on there, but you can have just critters on them as well, and you can have a name on them as well if you want. The other thing I did was pot holders, so I bought a bunch of pot holders because I really wanted them for my kitchen, and then again I came up with a few sayings that I really like, but the critters look really, really cool on them as well, so there's options there either way. There's 4 colours of those. I think there's half a dozen colours of the stubby coolers, but it's all listed on the site. What else was there? Backpacks. So these are drawstring canvas backpacks, and I'm going to use these as our Santa sacks this year. So that's why I bought them, was the intent was for Santa sacks, but I'm going to have them in such a way that the kids can then get use out of them throughout the rest of the year. Because when I buy stockings or Santa sacks, they get packed away and we can't always find them the next year. And I really hate that they're like a once a year use. So I bought these canvas backpacks in the hopes that I get them decorated, we use them as Santa sacks, and then they can use them all year round. So I'm going to put some names probably on the inside of them, like on the side that touches their back so that they're named, but I might just not put the names in the front, but I'm open to wherever you want names on them, if you want names on them as well as the critters, and the critters look amazing on them. I am so happy with how the critters look at that size on the canvas backpacks. Was there anything else? I don't think so. I think that was everything. If not, I'll put some pictures in here with some, notes on the screen or whatever. But yeah, so that's all the new stuff that's being launched. Now, for the sale, what I'm going to do. So the average shipping is $10 to $15 anywhere in Australia. So what I'm going to do is free shipping for any orders over $40, free shipping. And then it will also have you'll also have an automatic thing in there that you'll get 10% off if you go over $100. Now, the normal things are still in play there, so if you buy stars, if you order, I think it's 3 stars, you get 10%, 5 plus it's 20%, and 8 plus is 30 or something. There's a mosquito flying around my head. And the smoothies and the mugs are the same. They still have their discounts if you buy multiples of them, and that will still work even with the extra 10%, even with the free shipping. That will all still work. So hopefully, anyway. As far as I've tested so far, it still works. So free shipping for any orders over $40, and an extra 10% off if you go over the $100 mark. I'll also have, so I have a bunch of the Christmas critter stickers that I ordered, and I ordered a whole bunch, and I've sold a whole bunch, but I've still got a bunch left too. So what I thought is I might get the kids to make up some samples, just throw in a few into each little baggy thing, and it'll be random whether you get 2 or you get 4 or whatever, and they'll go in every order as well. So you get those little Christmas stickers, and these are vinyl stickers. So they are theoretically waterproof, so they are long-term stickers, so you can put them wherever you want. High quality, they really, really nice to look at. So yeah, I think that's everything. So that is my experience with creating the store from Shopify, my experience trying to get that step from doing art and also, promoting it and selling it and getting that shop working and dealing with that, and what we've got coming up in the sale. So the sale will start, I'm going to say 7 p.m. Thursday night, Brisbane time. So I'll make sure I put that up, and I'll send a newsletter out, and I'll put a community post up just before it starts. And I'll run it until, say, Sunday night, probably. And then I'll just pretty much cut things off as being anything ordered after that will not be guaranteed for Christmas. I think that's how I'll work it, and then anything that's ordered over those few days will be done next week and shipped next week. I'm all up in orders. The only order I've got outstanding is a family tree at the moment, which I sent a proof of for today. So I'm all up to date. I have everything here, and if I get those orders in over the weekend, they should all be done and posted by the end of next week, and well and truly in houses in Australia by Christmas. Now, for my international peoples, I'll set up a code to discount shipping, and I'll take the $15 off international shipping, which is the sort of the price that I would be paying for things here in Australia, and you're still eligible for the 10% off over 100 and all the rest of it. So at the point of $40, I will take $15 off international shipping, 15 Australian dollars off international shipping, but I cannot guarantee that things will make it before Christmas. So that is up to you guys, whether you want to order things that may not get there for Christmas or whatever else, but I will do the same. So 15 AUD, I will set it up so it automatically takes that off the international shipping. And if you have any questions about shipping, feel free to ask. I do get emails occasionally saying, this is coming up as this shipping, is this correct? And I will correct things if need be, or discount different, or send the differences back, or whatever needs needs to be done. So make sure you ask if the shipping looks wrong, rather than just sort of going, it's too expensive. Just give me a shout out, because there is some flaws in the shipping and bundling platform of Shopify without someone who's doing coding. And I could learn the coding eventually if I wanted to, but for the moment I'm just sticking with what's there. So anyway, thank you for joining me for this rambling chat about not a whole lot. And I will see you guys on the next video. I have a food video up for you next with a whole bunch of different keto things that we've tried out over the last few days and weeks. So I will see you then. Bye guys.